Hello everybody, Stuart here from thepolitical.co.uk. With the Scottish independence referendum less than 2 weeks away, this video will aim to highlight 10 reasons for Scottish independence. Coming in at number 10 is to deal with the current democratic deficit that Scottish voters face. Since World War II, the votes of the Scottish electorate have only been decisive on 3 occasions, in the general elections of 1964, 1974 and 2010. In each of these cases, Scottish voters prevented the Conservatives from winning a tiny majority. Scotland voted the same way in 2010 as in 2005, and despite this there was a huge difference in government. In addition to this, many argue that the additional member system used in Scottish elections is more representative than the first-past-the-post system used at Westminster. This is because the percentage of seats more accurately represents the percentage of votes a party received across the nation. This also leads to a greater representation for smaller parties. At number 9, self-determination, or the ability to make decisions for oneself. There's a common consensus that those who can make the best decisions for Scotland are those who live here. Who can better understand the problems and issues facing a country and its individuals than those who live and work here? And this brings us on nicely to number 8. The Scottish Parliament's successes have provided a good platform for independence. Through devolution, the Scottish Parliament has proven Scottish ability to govern successfully, and this provides a great platform for expansion into further powers through independence. At number 7 is Scotland's energy resources. Since the 1970s, approximately 39 billion barrels of oil have been extracted from the North Sea. Current estimates suggest there are up to 24 billion barrels still to be extracted. With recent increases in oil and gas prices, this means that the potential value of remaining oil and gas reserves could be significant. The oil and gas sector is a major source of tax revenues and to date has provided over £300 billion in revenues to the UK government since the 1970s. In addition to the great oil reserves, Scotland has 5% of Europe's offshore wind and tidal potential and 10% of wave potential. Around 20% of the electricity generated in Scotland is exported to the rest of the UK, and our renewables capacity continues to rise, with nearly 7 gigawatts of renewable energy now either installed or in a pipeline. We're well on our way to meeting the baseline target for renewables to generate the equivalent of 100% of gross annual electricity demand by 2020. What this means is that not only will Scotland be able to harness successes for the price of North Sea oil, but also that we can become a net distributor of renewable energy too. Scotland's energy resources can be used to bolster the economy in the event of independence. Reason number 6 is Trident and peace. Trident, the UK's nuclear deterrent, currently costs Scotland £170 million per year and is located within the Clyde, just 25 miles from the most populated part of Scotland. Plans have been outlined to decommission Trident following a yes vote, meaning a huge saving on something most in Scotland would regard as pointless. Becoming a non-nuclear country would put Scotland on the first step towards being a more peaceful nation. Interventionist action, as is common from the UK, would be easier to avoid, especially if you consider the SNP and Alex Salmond's stance on such. At number 5 is the avoidance of cuts. The current UK austerity measures have hurt many across the country so far, but are set to continue and to become even deeper cuts. In the event of a no vote, 56% of people from England polled wish to see a cut in the budget of Scotland. Through independence, Scotland would have full control over tax and spend, meaning the cuts of Westminster would not be able to affect us. Of course, assuming a currency union is agreed, Scotland would have to pay its share of national debt, but Scotland could decide exactly how much to cut, what to cut, and how quickly in order to do so. At 4 we have social ideology. If you were to examine the current policies and semantics of the UK government and compare it to the Scottish government, you would see differing ideologies between Scotland and the rest of the UK, mostly England, in relation to social policy and the provision of benefits. Whilst the UK government pursues choice, privatisation and personalisation in its social policy, the Scottish Government has used its powers to retain the NHS in a more organic form and to keep education free. Following independence, the Scottish Government would have the potential to take the differing social ideology of Scotland and to implement it in every area of policy, including welfare to work, pensions, as well as to make sure the Westminster cuts do not put pressure on currently devolved things like the Scottish NHS. At number 3, to make Scotland more attractive to businesses. At present, the Pool of London prevents Scotland from being as attractive as one might want to businesses. With the implementation of a 3% corporation tax cut and further government concentration on Scottish products and businesses, independence could bolster Scotland's attractiveness to businesses. With this, it could bring jobs and investment to Scotland. Coming in at number 2, despite worries in working class areas of England, Wales and Northern Ireland, independence could actually help cut the power stronghold of London and help communities of England, Wales and Northern Ireland to thrive. London is currently the powerhouse of the UK, and thus cutting ties to it may help to change the power relationship of the British Isles as a whole. As Billy Bragg said, the fact is that far from fearing the breakup of the UK, the English are looking at the benefits that devolution has brought the Scots, and asking why they are able to not enjoy the same. If the Scots want to show some solidarity with the people in England who feel trapped in a centralised state where cheap credit, privatisation and deregulation are the only solutions offered, they should vote yes to independence and set us all free. In addition to this, Alex Salmond in a speech in Carlisle said, independence would create opportunities for cooperation and partnership which would benefit the north of England more than anywhere else, an economic counterweight to London and the south east. A final reason coming in at number 1 on our list is national identity. Now this might not be as important as perhaps some say, but identity is still important. What do you consider yourself, Scottish or British? There are differences between Scottishness and Britishness, of course, but what sets the Scottish independence referendum apart from some others is that Scotland has always been regarded as a country in its own right. The differences between Scotland and Britain are mainly civil differences rather than ethnic, but nonetheless this referendum is a real question of identity. In a Sunday Times poll in 2013, respondents were asked, would you feel most proud describing yourself to someone from overseas as Scottish or British? 63% of those asked answered Scottish. Whilst for many the referendum is about getting the best deal for Scotland, many will vote from the heart to be only Scottish. Thank you for listening to our countdown of 10 reasons for Scottish independence. Of course, the list of reasons for it is far greater than that covered in this video, but I hope to have covered the main issues in some areas of interest. I will also be making a countdown of 10 reasons against Scottish independence, and the link for that will be in the description below. Please visit thepolitical.co.uk for access to a variety of sources of political news, blogs and videos, and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video.